What's up, Grand Archive fans? Welcome back to another Community Spotlight video. And in this video, I had the opportunity to sit down for about an hour with someone who, if you're on the Grand Archive Discord, there's almost no chance you don't recognize. It's Clem. Clem is a guiding voice for the European Grand Archive community and had a lot to say, a lot of very interesting conversation about not only the European community, cultural differences in TCGs, theming in TCGs, even things like VTubing. We talk about a ton of things that I think you will find fairly interesting, and we even uncover some interesting tidbits about some Hungarian TCGs as well. So grab some popcorn, grab a snack, grab a drink, tune in to this conversation with the one and only Clem. What's up, everyone? It's Dan with Main Deck, and welcome to another Community Spotlight video. Today we have Clem joining us. Clem, how's it going?
Hello, it's going pretty good. Bit tired today. I'm very excited for Worlds.
Yeah, I feel that. I've been nonstop working, and I still need to pack and everything. I'm not ready at all.
Yeah, me too. Oh man, there's many orders I need to bring to Worlds as well. Many things I need to do still.
Oh, and yeah, you're bringing orders to people from. We'll talk about this in a little bit, but from Aria's card shop, right?
Yep. And just rewards for some people who played in our events as well.
Yeah.
So just need to pack a bunch of things.
Sure.
Also, some gifts, some Hungarian gifts, because don't have people coming from Hungary every day.
Right. No, absolutely. So yeah, I want to start by just kind of, going over a little bit about who you are, which will give some context, I think, to people who are just tuning in. Like, I have no idea what's going on. I don't know who any of these people are. I don't know why I'm here. For those people. So Grand Archive Worlds about to happen in a few days. Myself and Clem both on the casting team, which is super exciting. So Clem, why don't you start by telling people a little bit about who you are sort of in the community and with your relationship to Grand Archive, and then we'll go from there.
Yeah, sure. So I'm a little Grand Archive player from Hungary, and mostly I started in the community for the Dungeon Guy promo you could get in the main server by just chatting there, because I really liked the promo and you could get coins just by chatting. So I was like a couple months after Kickstarter shipped, but then one day I was just chilling and I noticed that there wasn't a European server, everyone else had their own, even in like states in America had their own, but there was nothing for Europe. So I made a server and I was like, hell, come on over, let's gather all the European players. Because at that point, there was very few of us because there was barely any product here. And even with Alter release, there was nothing, basically. Our distributor was also a bit messy, so shops couldn't even order it anymore. And so I just started gathering the community and started hosting these online events where you could play with printed cards, just proxy out everything, because I couldn't expect people to have the cards. And what happened was I started doing that, and then suddenly the devs decided that, yeah, we should do these online events, because Yeti had been doing them for a while as well, I think, at that point. And so the devs reached out to me and they were like, hey, want to do this official online thing, we're going to do it, we're going to support you, let's do these events. And I was like, hell yeah. It was a wonderful opportunity by the devs, and it was a great idea. And then for a bit they allowed us to still run with proxies until Fractured Crown, when the Alter reprint also came. And after that we started playing with real cards as well. And from then, this community in Europe slowly started growing. And many people say that it's me that kept it alive, but really it's the fact that people just kept showing up. Like, we had 4 players for the longest time on our weekly events, but they still kept showing up. And I think that's really what was the best part, that we were a small community, but we were very strong and very together. And now we have like 8 to 12 people playing every week, which is awesome, I think. Even because in Europe, many of the players are like all around. Even if you're in the same country, you can be especially in Germany, there's like 2-3 players in one city and 2-3 players in another city. Overall, there's many people, but they're not nearby enough where they could play with each other. So these online events, I think, are basically the European locals, because nobody really has locals.
Right, right. That's
Yeah.
so you're okay. I have so many questions. I have so many things I want to get into.
Yeah.
So the first thing is, so you are with a shop called Aria's Card Shop, correct?
Yeah. Aria is my husband,
Okay.
and we had another shop here in Budapest doing Magic, and but they were not that great. They didn't focus on the community aspect of the game, which was very very important for Aria as well. And him and I actually met in that shop,
Oh,
but we
that's
were both
awesome.
dissatisfied with it. And so when we the idea came up of what if we had our own shop. It was more community focused and like more of a friendly pace, and we started Aria's card shop. He was the more well known at that time in like the local community.
Sure.
So and his face is iconic. He wears the cowboy outfit actually in real life. And yeah, many people are surprised when they meet him. It's like, oh man, this guy is actually the logo, which is very funny to me.
So that's why it's Aria's Card Shop with the cowboy logo and not Clem's Card Shop with the frog logo.
Yes,
That was
yes,
number
but
2
maybe,
though.
maybe.
The number 2
Yeah,
idea.
that was of course, yeah, and if I was a bit better known, then it would have been Clem's card shop with a frog.
Sure, sure. But in the Grand Archive community, it's Clem with the frogs that's very well known because you're I had no idea actually. I was looking at the Discord rankings the other day. I had no idea not only that you were the number 1 ranked in posting on the Grand Archive official Discord, but it's not even like close. You're
Yeah,
pretty far ahead.
I spent way too much time there. But to be fair, my excuse is that this is my job. I run the online league. I have to be online a lot, and I'm fortunate enough to be able to do cards as a living.
Yeah,
Because I know many people can't, and even with the card shop, even card shop owners have so many things to do. But I'm very, very fortunate that I have Aria and I have our friend Adam who help us out with the shop, so I can focus on Grand Archive and do this online, offline, wherever I can. So
that's awesome.
yeah, it's really good, but it shows on my Discord ranks.
Yeah.
I post too much.
I swear for a while it was Shinja, but maybe Shinja was never quite to the level of Clem on the Discord.
Yeah, I think Shinja was like in the Kickstarter-esque times, like when he joined.
Yeah.
Then he probably was also posting a lot. Then he got busy, now he's organizing worlds and stuff. He's a
Yeah,
busy man.
TM32 really they when Grand Archive really latched onto TM32 to start hosting things. Unfortunately, a lot of Memeja went away on the Discord.
Yeah,
Less of that.
it's a shame.
Okay, so yeah, I just wanted to get I wanted to just kind of go through that a little bit. So your role with Aria's Card Shop is really focused on sort of community, right?
Yeah.
You,
It's mostly focused on like Grand Archive community, but overall, like people come here for Aria, and then they stay for us all here because really it's a community focused shop. And the other day we had a guy come in who just came from this other shop, and he was like, "Oh my god, you guys are so nice and friendly here." And that's the kind of atmosphere I wanted to bring to Grand Archive as well, and wanted to do with the European community. And I think from the feedback I've gotten so far that it's been achieved. Like especially for our regionals, we had a little after party, where we just all went to a tiki bar and hung out and talked. And then from the tiki bar, we went to another bar after the tiki bar closed, and we just hung out and talked. And I think it was very very positive experience for everyone. It was very nice and community building. And the next day we had the store championship, and after the store championship basically everyone stayed the whole day. So instead of just staying for those 3 rounds and then going home, everyone stayed. Then we had another locals afterwards. We had some cracking, booster boxes and stuff, and it was very fun. Like I'm very happy that I managed to translate it into the whole European community as well.
Yeah, it's I mean it's quite a bit of I guess responsibility maybe that feels like on your shoulders now for you're sort of the even at Worlds and casting team, you're sort of the European community representative. Um, one thing that I found interesting is that there are a lot of smaller card games historically that have really they've had their community shoulder the burden of keeping them going for a super long time. I like to reference Universes as a game. It used to be called UFS. That
Hmm.
until recently, until they acquired the My Hero Academia license, they started to pop off a little bit more then. But prior to that, they're very much like what you have been doing with Grand Archive. There was a sort of small, dedicated community, pockets of locals, 2 to 3 people. But when you would have a major event happen, they would congregate into one place, and it would be just like what you described. Just like we come, we play in the event, win or lose, doesn't really matter. You stay the whole time. They like to the point where when I went to Worlds for UFS in 2020, right before everything shut down, I went to
Yeah.
Worlds in Las Vegas for UFS, and it was held at a con called Level Up Expo. It was it was a bigger con, and there was a lot to see there. Our team was doing, it was a teams event too that we were playing in one day. Our team was doing terribly, and I was like, well, let's just drop and just go like check out the con and see stuff, like whatever, we're just going to lose a bunch of games. And um it was like we kind of got like shamed a little bit for like, it was like, I don't, not like directly, but it was like you could tell it was like, no, you're not supposed to drop. Like you're supposed to play the whole time. That's what we're here for.
Yes.
Which is just it's an interesting sentiment that can grow when the community gets built entirely around just there's a number of events, and when they come up, you're there to play, in the event. And then of course afterwards they have like after parties and stuff, the exact same thing, a lot of that community building thing. So I think like, while the European community continues to be a little smaller, that's such an integral role that you're playing, and just kind of building that sort of loyalty that people have.
Yeah, yeah. I appreciate what you're saying. Yeah, I think it's also very much depends on the players. Like
Mhm.
if the players aren't into that, aren't like very social people, which comes up with card games. Some
Yeah.
people come to card games to just play, and they're not very good at socializing or don't want to socialize with others. Really, it can kind of fall apart. And I'm very fortunate that so far the community members over here are very interested in just hanging out and talking about everything and anything. It can be Grand Archive related, but that's just the thing that brings us together. Grand Archive is our common link, but we are still, I think most of us are great friends.
Yeah, for
And
sure.
and it's really really good to see that Grand Archive overall, I think that's true for Grand Archive, that the community members here are not just interested in winning or just playing, but they're interested in the people as well. Like the point here is to have a nice community, and I really appreciate that about the game. I think I came here for the cute art and the great game, and I stayed for the community,
Yeah.
honestly.
Yep, that makes sense. Just like how people come to Aria's card shop for the cute cowboy, and then they stay for the frogs and Clem. So, makes
Yes,
sense.
yes.
Uh, so you said you came from a Magic focused card shop. Is your a lot of your card gaming background in Magic, or were there other games that you've dabbled in, or
It's basically all Magic. I actually grew up collecting this horse card game. It had these magical, cool horses, and I still
Belisara?
have my cards. No, it was Luna Magica, I think.
Oh man, a game I haven't heard of is always a crazy day for me. I'm gonna have to look
Yeah,
into this.
it had like horse stats and everything, so I'm pretty sure you could play it. But I didn't care. I was just a horse girl, and I grew up next to stables and like horses. It was awesome. And I just cared about the horses in the game. I don't know how to play it, if you can even. I just knew that horses, they had abilities and they
Yeah.
were very cute.
Okay, so I went and pulled this up. I just searched for it really quick. The first thing I found was a thread on Board Game Geek where saying someone recently took a trip to Budapest, Hungary, and while there, they saw a girl on a bus holding a deck of playing cards for a game called Luna Magica. I assume that was you on the bus. They sound so
Maybe,
that's
maybe.
really cool. This was Oh yeah, this was like 14 years ago. So I'm pretty sure it was you. So they saw you on the bus holding Luna Magica cards, and
Maybe.
someone else found a Hungarian website with additional info. Is this just like is this a Hungarian ZCG?
Maybe I if the cards were all in Hungarian, I never considered that it may be just
Wow,
Hungarian.
it might be.
That's pretty cool. That's
I
awesome.
I am gonna
Why
have
don't
to
you?
dig into this now. This is super cool. I love especially hearing
Same.
about card games from other regions. So this will tie into what I wanted to talk about next, actually. But the the card game culture is so different from place to place, but really like the US and Japan were like really some of the main like US very competitive card game focus, Japan very aesthetic card game focus is the way I like to think about it for a
Yeah.
long time. And not to say either one doesn't care about either one, but that's just like culturally a lot of focus has been kind of in different areas a lot of the time. Um,
Yeah. Yeah.
and a lot of other regions are like, I don't even care. It seems like you know, they
Yeah.
card games, especially in Europe, have been just like a. Is this your experience? Is like a smaller, like kind of a more niche hobby, or am I off base there?
Oh no, I think you're absolutely correct, but I think here whoever plays card games is extremely dedicated. Like
Sure.
we have I'm not sure if you heard about the game Star Wars Destiny,
Oh
the
yeah,
old Star Wars game. Yeah. Star Wars Destiny still has new sets coming out in Hungary.
yeah. I've seen that. It's a fan community in Hungarian that runs them.
Yeah.
There's like two or three fan communities that have continued to print Star Wars Destiny cards, but I've seen the I think it's called New Hungary Star Wars or something like that. They have
Yes,
a yep.
yes, yes.
Yeah.
They play at our shop. Every
Oh,
month they come here and play at our shop. We have their poster and everything. It's that's very awesome. So over here, some people even play the old Lord of the Rings TCG as well.
yes.
People are extremely dedicated to the TCGs they latch onto, but it's a very small amount of people
Yeah.
because mostly here you I think the cultures are very different. Over here, you go out hiking and you go out with your family, or you go to the countryside for as your hobbies, and you don't do much else. You People here rarely spend on hobbies. It's mostly just something you can do for free. And but who the people who do, they are extremely dedicated. Like there's this Hungarian card game as well, and most Hungarians, except for me, it seems, started playing with it. It's called Hakaka, and it came out like 2 or 3 years after Magic. Or no, sorry, I'm wrong. Actually, it came out a year before Magic: The Gathering. It's called Hatalom Kártyái. I'm not sure if you can find it if you Google it
I
yourself.
promise I cannot Google that and find it. I have no idea where to even start with that one.
Yeah, it's Hungarian's a hard language. I don't fault you for that. But this community is people ebb and flow. Like anyone who plays that usually moves on to Magic because it's very similar. But that game, I think that game has the biggest community and biggest like gaming community after Magic in Hungary because it's only in Hungarian and it's extremely high quality for a Hungarian game. Like you would expect over here, generally the vibe is that if something's Hungarian, it's not gonna be the best quality, especially if it has like an American counterpart.
Oh no. Okay.
But this game is extremely good. Like I've it has like 7 colors and it has a lot of interesting interactions. I never played it myself, but everyone I've talked to says that yeah, they liked it and then it got overcomplicated, but now they're going back and now it seems that the game is correcting itself and it's getting its players back.
Oh
So
man.
it's very fun.
I okay, so
And
you haven't played it though.
I haven't played. I have cards from it because they have some very pretty cards and they have pirate cards. And I really like pirates as well. Like
Okay.
pirates and frogs, those are the two things I care about the most.
Perfect. Yeah, it's good to know exactly what you're into. That's awesome.
Yeah, yeah.
I
And I got this super rare card from them in foil somewhere from just cracking some packs, and I got a foil like pirate lady, and apparently it's worth like 20,000 forints, which is about 30 US dollars, which for a Hungarian card game is a very high price.
sure. Nice. We have to talk about after this. I might need to try and see if I can get something from Aria's card shop for this. I don't know. I can't read them, but maybe I can figure it out. Get a
Sure, sure.
translation going on my phone or something. That's
I'll bring you some stuff.
yeah. I've never heard of this, and I've gotten so excited just now to experience the Hungarian card game that swept the nation. Even
Yeah, truly.
that's awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, so small groups of players, very dedicated. Even for that game, they're just like small groups of people that will travel a lot more to reach events. That's kind of the vibe.
Yep. That's how we roll over here. It's like there was this guy who opened the CSR in a different city. They just started playing Grand Archive, and he was like, "Oh, I have the CSR." And Aria replied and was like, "Hey, I'm interested." And then the next day, he traveled up just to trade his CSR for like 3 boxes of ALC, and then he went home, cracked the ALC, got another CSR, and now he
Wow.
traded it for MRC with us. And I was like, "Sure,
Wow. That's awesome.
yeah."
So what okay, so I guess this is going to be a really open-ended question, and I don't know if you have an answer for it or if you just have any thoughts to maybe enlighten the audience. But one thing I hear a lot in the general community is I hear people from various European countries just requesting support, requesting more, something to help to get the game to grow. I mean, I know Weebs has sent to distributors. They've worked with. I'm aware of Blackfire. I can't remember the name of Peach States. A Peach State in the U.S. has, I believe, has a distributor in the U.K. as well. I think they
Mhm.
have a branch of it, something like that. I think they're
It's
working
called
with the
Bliss. That's the
Bliss. Yeah, that's it.
UK. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you, thank you.
UK one.
So I know that like there are some distributors that have gotten stuff, but first of all, like, do you think there is a route to, given just culture and everything, a route to getting the game to be where people kind of are wishing it would be when they look at U.S. events and events in Oceania and Taiwan going crazy? Do you think that's a level that could be reached, or at least closer to it? And do you have any insight just from your position as to what you think would potentially help get things there?
Mm. Well, I think there's definitely a way, but I think in Europe the biggest thing holding the game back is unfortunately the anime art style.
Okay.
Because I have many friends who I've shown the game to and who I've talked to, and Aria has as well, and we've shown them the game and they were like, the mechanics are great, the ideas are awesome. The one thing that puts them off is the anime art style, because I think over here it has a bit of a stigma, because we have anime conventions, we have everything, but because people are so uniform here and are so stuck to the rules, um, being a weeb per se is a bit looked down upon. Like I used to go to a very cool anime convention called Mundokon in Hungary, and it's like the biggest one over here. And every time I went there and I had some friends around who were cosplaying, people, you got very weird looks on public transport, because over here everybody uses public transport. It's just better than cars. And I think that's the one thing holding the game back, is that people don't want to be looked at weirdly for it. But like in France though, it's people love anime, like they adore it, but there people don't like to speak English, don't like to learn English for
Sure.
historical reasons. and and over there I think it's the language barrier that holds it back. So the problem with Europe is that it's very localized problems all over,
Yeah.
but I think Weeps has been doing pretty well, because previously the biggest problem, next to the anime art style they could get, if they could get over that, the biggest problem was the fact that there were no major events.
Right.
But now we had 2 seasons with regionals, and basically for next for 2025 a nationals has been announced. If you look at the NQP, the qualifier points you need to collect, Europe has its own number of qualifier points.
Yeah.
So now people have something to look forward to. It's not just, oh, I'm playing, but what for? And I think this will bring a very very big boom, because it's not just okay, I join and I go to weeklies. It's okay, I join, I go to weeklies to practice, and I go to bigger events, and then I qualify for nationals. And they have a clear road on what they can do to improve and what they can do to move up on the ladder. And I think that was the biggest thing holding the game back from everyone who was interested in playing, because I heard many people whose friends complained that, okay, but why do I play the game, for like Fracture Crown and Dawn of Ashes season. That was the biggest thing. If people played, then people wanted to play with their friends, but their friends were very competitive. They had a very competitive mindset. And what stopped them was really that, okay, I play the game, but what am I going to do? And I think, other than the nationals, the rankings and being able to get promos from playing is also a wonderful idea from Weebs. And I think those two things are, like, so far it's only been the points for the promos, but that's really been pushing everyone to play more. Like, we have a player who went to every nationals in the world from Europe. His
Wow.
name is Henki on the Discord servers.
That is
He's a really cool
dedication.
guy. Yeah, because we didn't have any in Europe, and he got into day 2 in Oceania, and then he barely, I think he went ninth overall.
Oh, the
So
bubble. I can feel
yeah,
that. I feel the pain of the bubble.
yeah, it's unfortunate, and and once he found out that he can get points by playing on the online events, he started playing in the online events, and
Sure.
now he joins it. So I think once people realize that actually playing gets you proper rewards in the game, they will start playing more. And that's how we've been enticing many players here as well. Like my brother, he never played any card game other than Hearthstone, but we were like, hey, you there's an there's an IRL ladder that you can climb here for promos and stuff. He immediately was like, oh, don't mind if I start playing
Yeah.
then.
As long as I can make the number go up, I'm happy.
Yeah. And then he cracked the box of FTC and got the CSR. So he's making big bucks. I think
Yeah.
he's had a very good experience. And he's actually coming with me to Worlds.
Oh, great.
He's gonna be cosplaying as well.
That's
So
awesome. Wow,
yeah.
it's so cool to hear that too. Like, especially when I get to hear things like the transition of like casual card gamer to like competitive grinder to cosplayer. Like, you just, you can hit all those different facets. And I love that Grand Archive, at Weaves the Shore have enabled kind of expression of your interest in all those different ways that you want to as well. I can also agree that like Omnidex, when Omnidex went live, our regular weekly attendance about doubled. We had people who were, they were like, I want to play this game today, or yeah, I don't know, I can't make it, whatever. They'll come up with, they'll have any reason, everyone's just choosing to prioritize things
Yeah.
differently, right? But
Yep.
suddenly we add in this, well, you're going to get these points. Some points will last forever, some are for the season, but you're getting points in multiple ways every time you play. There's promos. That's people are in, and it's
Yeah.
really nice to have a setup too that is automated, like Omnidex is, where you can just start up your locals anywhere
Yeah.
in.
It's so good. So useful. Like, we
Yeah.
had a player in Finland who only recently started the locals, and when there's only 2 Finnish players online right now, but when they noticed that the store was on Omnidex, they got so excited. It's so awesome. Omnidex is the perfect tool, I think. It's
Yeah.
like everything they integrated and they managed to do on Omnidex, and with the features they're rolling out still, it's I think it's shaping up to be one of the best competitive systems, like online systems for card games.
I
Because
I've been saying that it is. Like, it just straight up, I think it just straight up is at this point.
yeah,
But I really actually, I've been thinking about this. Like, I want to deep dive at some point into different tournament softwares. Like, I have a lot of experience with them just from my history with card games anyway.
hmm
But there's a few, like, I've been a little out of touch with Magix because it's been a number of years for me. I have been using Companion app the few times I've played Magic, so like I know they've got that integration, but that's I would love to sit down, and I don't know if people are interested in this, so maybe comment down below if this sounds like something you want to see. But I want to dive into a lot of the major tournament softwares just so I can directly compare them to Omnidex, because I think my assumption right now is that Omnidex kicks their butts in a lot of ways. um,
Yeah, definitely, definitely. Magic recently added some features to Event Link that Omnidex had from the get go, and I was like, "What took you so long?" And
yeah,
also, Event Link is just like they reset all of their systems. They were like they forgot what was there before.
yeah.
DCI, I don't know her, and then they just started again.
I still have my DCI number memorized for no reason. It doesn't help me anymore in my life, but I can't get rid. It can't like leave my brain either. It was so I'm so used to punching in the numbers every time I went.
Yeah.
This is when I was playing competitive, like real competitive Magic. What when were you? By the way, just I never got to ask this, but when were you playing Magic? Like, what was your like starting set? What did you play through? Were you competitive or just kind of casual? Or
I never was really competitive. I was on and off playing sometimes. For me, the first set, the earliest set I cracked was Theros.
oh, okay,
And I still have my first foil. I was so excited for it. And I'm so sad that I can't be excited for foils anymore. It was Thassa's Devourer. It's a
okay.
blue common, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, but now
It's
foils are like literally a dime a dozen in
Yeah,
Magic
now it's guaranteed in every draft pack you open, every pack you open, because they went from set booster and draft booster to just
to
a
play
weird booster.
play boosters, I believe they're called
Yeah,
now,
yeah,
and yeah, uh, and then collectors. You buy collector booster, you get 12 foils in there. Most of them you just throw behind your shoulder, and then you just look at the end of the pack, just the same as
yeah. Just
before.
buy a pack of chips, basically.
Yeah,
So pringled out of the pack.
yeah,
And yeah,
that's
yeah.
true too. Um,
It's it's
Ixalan.
interesting magic.
Were
Sorry.
you an Ixalan fan with the pirates?
Oh, I'm a massive Exelon fan, and I was just talking to a guy today who came in. We had some talk about the new Exelon. I was like, yeah, I'm one of the few weirdos who really likes Exelon, because Exelon is when things started going very bad with Magic, very wrong.
Yeah,
But Exelon is my set. I've had an Admiral Beckett brass deck since she came out, and
nice.
that deck is my pet deck. I
Mhm.
think it's pretty strong. It's in 1v1, it's like insanely good. In multiplayer, not that much.
Sure.
But I'm unfortunately, one, I'm all focused on Grand Archive now.
Yeah.
Two, there's so many cards coming out today that I just can't keep up with it. I
Yeah.
can't keep my deck up to date. And before, we just had Ixalan and then no pirates until Commander Masters, I think.
Commander Legends. Yeah,
Legends,
that's the one.
Masters is I
It's
so,
but look, who can honestly
Commander
keep
this
them
set, yeah.
straight?
The purple commanders.
Yeah, the purple one.
The purple one. And then once again there was nothing for a while, and now every set has pirates. And I'm happy, but at the same time, I'm like, I can't do this. I used to have a collection tracker of every single pirate in Magic, and
Mm,
I collected them, and I have still the Excel, but I haven't updated it in so long because the number of cards coming out is so much.
yeah.
Like, I who can honestly keep up? Like, even Aria is he's in charge of Magic for us. Even he can't keep up with all the cards coming out. It's Magic is in a weird spot right now.
Yeah. Yeah, it certainly is. And I also feel, I don't know if you feel the same way, but when a card game has, for example, Pirates are a great example, something where they visited the theme for the first time, and it obviously was like extremely exciting. Like, wow, we are getting pirates and Magic. Like, all we've had in the past was like there was like a skeleton ship in
And
Legends
there's
or something.
mercenaries and
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah, yep. They had some. There was a whole port themed region, but didn't really have pirates. It just had mercenaries and rebels and nonsense. Um, so it's super cool. But like, I don't. Do you feel that the more they revisit the theme, the kind of like the less exciting, or are you a big enough pirate fan where like I don't care, like pirates are cool, but like it feels to me like it gets a little less exciting each time because it's just maybe an oversaturation of that.
Yeah, I think pirates are cool. I will always be excited for a pirate set. I was so hyped for the new Exalan as well. But then once the set is not pirate themed and seeing pirates in there, like in the desert for Outlaws of Thunder
Yeah,
Junction,
sure.
seeing pirates there, it feels odd. And I'm not. So if it's the theme fit, if it fits the theme, I'm excited for it. If it doesn't fit the theme, I'm not that excited for it because I'm just like, why are they here? What the hell? You
Yeah.
know, it's it's not meant to be. It's like a weird. It becomes a gimmick if you just put it in every single set, and I don't like that.
Yeah.
And overall, that's been my problem with Magic right now as well. That every set is very gimmicky. It's just, oh, a murder mystery set. Oh, a little cowboy set. Oh, a space race set. Oh, a tiny animal set. That's standard for this year. It's every set is so different from each other. There is no connection, and they're trying to do it with like Kellen is in every set, but I don't care about Kellen.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody cares
Ellen doesn't
about
have a
Kellen.
pirate hat on, so
Yeah, even the
okay.
cowboy hat. Oh, he doesn't wear the cowboy hat, right?
Was Aria excited for Cowboy set?
Yes, we had this custom Aria card made as well,
Oh, awesome.
and we had this. Oh, pre-release is gonna be great. It's his set, but then it got spoiled, and it's like 4 sets in one, and it's too
Yeah.
much. You know,
Yeah.
it's
I could probably talk for a while about
yeah,
Outlaws. So I want to take this idea though, just this concept that we've been talking about. I'm going to spin it back into focusing on Grand Archive a little bit because we've talked a lot about how these, Magic uses themes in different ways. I like gimmick is a good word and an interesting word to use because it's not something that they is new necessarily to the game. You started with Theros, and I mean, at the time, the exact same thing was being lobbied about the game. Then,
yeah,
oh, it's just that it's some Greek gods, just a Greek gimmick. I want good old Magic where everyone was on some nondescript fantasy plane, and there were nondescript elves finding nondescript goblins, and
yeah,
I joke a little bit because it's okay to have like a little bit of fun with your theme, right? But we don't. It's okay if it's not just elves. But do you Grand Archive has a similar idea? So far, they're doing 2 set blocks right now. We don't know what's going to happen necessarily in the future, but we had the Cambria theme, which was Arthurian legend, Camelot, that kind
right,
of stuff. Their own twists on everything. The same thing that Magic did with Theros. And then we had Alchemical Revolution, sort of like Magitech, steampunky, a little bit of vibe,
yeah.
Do you feel that is there a difference in execution here that you feel is like better, or is there just a difference in saturation, or what do you think why do you prefer the way Grand Archive does it to Magic if you do?
I very much do, and I think it's because they are keeping with the block theme. With Magic,
Okay.
it's 1 set and done. And with Grand Archive, they allow us enough time to explore the worlds and see what's up because there is not 1 set like every 2 months or every month. There's 2 sets for half the year, and then I'm not sure how it'll be this time, but I'm assuming there's going to be one big set and then one smaller set in the beginning of 2025. And this way we have time to just process it, see the world, other than just it comes out, it's very hype, oh my god, this and this and this, and then you're just like, oh, okay, the next gimmick is coming. You have
Yeah.
2 sets to explore it. And I think what Grand Archive does wonderfully, and with Bell coming in as well, it's very exciting, is the attention to detail in every single card. There's very few random characters on pieces on like action cards, like so far for MRC, what has been spoiled, it's all been major characters doing something and the flavor text being relevant to it. And to me, that's very important, that either give us a long time to explore the world and see what it's like, or let us see it in the cards and not just be like every card is some random thing that's happening. And Grand Archive gives us both.
Yeah.
It does everything I want. And so I'm very invested in the story. The only problem is I want more story,
Yes.
because right now it's very like puzzle based. I you trying to figure out what this card is, when it happened, and how it is. and I've been really excited for the lore articles, but they stopped obviously because I'm assuming they're extremely busy, and there's been national ascent, nationals, now worlds. It's a lot of work for them to do, but that's why I'm also very excited for Belle to come in, is that then she will focus on that, I hope.
Yeah, we
and
hope.
and well, so far on her Twitter she's been posting some cool tidbits about the lore, which I'm excited about.
Yeah,
But that's the thing. So Grand Archive gives us time to explore the things and makes it a little bit easier to understand. If we had lore articles like books like Magic did back in the day, then I think even then I would much prefer Grand Archive, because the cards are more connected to the story
sure.
than in Magic. So
Yeah, one thing I feel, I think you're really onto something with this time to explore, and just kind of when you go from one theme to another directly, and you don't have like a significant chunk of significant enough chunk. I mean, it's weird because like Magic produces enough cards, right? It's like it's not like Outlaws was lacking in cards to put things on. Um,
no, definitely.
but I feel like by in the old system when they did Theros, they had Theros into Born of the Gods into Journey into Nyx, 3 sets that explored this theme. And I think what that lets you do as a designer is just get you have your cards that are like the obvious, like, okay, we're gonna have a god of the dead, we're gonna have a god of water, we're gonna, they're gonna hit kind of the main points that you expect to see, but then you there's a bunch of room to kind of create something more novel, something um more natural feeling in the your world that you're creating. um Whereas when you just have, okay, we have a murder mystery set, we have one set, anything even remotely murder mystery related, you got to jam in there. So it's like, yeah, here's your Scooby Doo card. Here's your other Scooby Doo. I was still surprised that there were some cards that were like almost directly referencing Scooby Doo in that set. But
It's crazy.
it's like it's like all you really do is you only really have time to do is pick the lowest hanging fruit. I feel like, and you're like, we just got to make sure we fit those in, and up then the set's full. That's it. And you don't have any time to get a little higher into the tree and get the ones that, like, the cards that feel like a little more, just a little more of a deeper kind of thematic payoff to them. Um, so I think, I don't know if that resonates with what you're saying as well, but I like that about Grand Archive too.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I really feel that. Like with Theros, you could do a whole arc of what happened. You'd have a build. You have the first set, which is just introducing you to the world, and then the second set of, oh, here's the conflict, and then resolution. And that's what Grand Archive does with the big set, small set as well. Like,
Yeah.
and in ALC, we built up the world of Azoth, or I'm not sure how we should pronounce it. There is no.
I have gone back and forth. If people go back to my videos, one video I say Azoth, another one I say Azoth, and I can't decide. So I'm not sure.
I'll just go. I'll go with the Hungarian accent version, and then I'm safe from any deliberation.
Oh yeah,
It's
yep.
Azoth. Yeah, just Azoth. And so ALC introduced us and showed us gave us hints as to who the villains are and who the good guys are.
Mm-hmm.
And now in MRC, we're gonna see like what actually is happening and the whole resolution and conflict of it, which is a bit, also a bit crammed, but we still had one set to explore and then learn and talk about everything that happened. And then the next set we'll see, like, okay, so this guy is this guy and he's doing this and this is what's happening. And so far, I had honestly, the most exciting part for me about all of the spoilers has been the arts and seeing
Sure.
what the hell is happening. Like,
Yeah.
there's the one, I think you spoiled it. This was the last minute spoiler for you.
Orchestrated seizure. I was gonna bring that up too. Yeah. Go for it. Talk about it.
Or it's let me I'm gonna need to bring the card up to see so I don't misspeak.
Yeah. But I was so I felt, while you're pulling that up, I spoiled this card and I was already done editing my video for the spoilers and I had to jam it in last second. So I honestly, I edited and posted that video without even looking at the artwork whatsoever. I'm going to read the card. I'm going to talk about it. I'm going to get this up because it was like 1:30 a.m. at that point. Like, I just need to get this done. And then afterwards, I went and I looked at the card closer. I'm like, I should have talked about this art. This is like
Yeah,
a story moment. This is really cool.
it's a big story moment. It's like Vanitas being, it looks like he's wearing Claude's like robe or something,
Yeah.
and he's stealing Rose, and I'm so excited to see what the hell happened here. At least it's like freaking Claude is in the back, just, I don't know, knocked out, and
Yeah.
I want to know what happened. It's so exciting, and I'm so happy that there in Grand Archive. I'm excited for the art. I'm excited to know what's behind the art, and I haven't felt this in so long, and it's really refreshing, and I'm really happy that it's finally back and it's here, and I can be excited for something.
Yeah.
It's
Absolutely. I think they're knocking it out of the park. I love the addition of Bell to the team now too. I've just been excited to see the team growing bit by bit. I
yeah,
feel like very tempered growth rate. Like not just they could have they got this Kickstarter fund. They could have immediately gone, all right, let's hire 30 people. Let's kick it off. But I think they did what a lot of TCG companies or indie TCGs on Kickstarter have not necessarily done correctly, which is they got the funding and then said, okay, now we need to remember how much it costs to do everything we choose to do, and just start slow, focus on the community, build it up, and expand as we're able to. I think it was in the anniversary stream where I believe it might have been, I think it was Sil who mentioned something that I thought was, I didn't even like realize the reasoning behind the the long delay and then the set size for Fractured Crown. It was so weird. Like took it Fractured Crown came out. It didn't take terribly long for Fractured Crown. It was like 4 or 5 months, and then we got it. And then it was another like 5 or 6 months before we got ALC. And Fractured Crown is just a 90 card set. And a lot of people are like, oh, okay, they're going to do big set and then way smaller set. But
yeah.
it was really just, no, we're going to do the small set because that will allow us to start doing regular, more regular set sizes after this, because we just need to get something out, and artwork takes time. Like it takes a
Yeah.
long time to do. Um, but I think a lot of companies would have had ambitions set too high for that and gone, okay, well, this is what it has to be. Set 2 has to be another 200 cards. And you have so many issues there. You either spend way too much money before you can make anything back, because turns out you need to sell cards to make money.
What a surprise.
Yeah, I know, it's shocking. And or they could have just said, well, okay, then it'll be done when it's done, and the next set releases 8 months later or something, and you lose all momentum. Or
Yeah.
you can go, okay, well, we just have to work at double time and pay double for it, and then what? I
All
mean,
your money's gone.
then you have
Freaking.
nothing, right? So
Yeah.
it was a smart choice, I think, and now they're at the point where things are going to come out regularly, pretty consistently, from what we understand. And they're able to now take what they've made. They sell a few sets, they take that money, they go, let's hire on Bell, let's start building that lore back out. How disappointed were you, by the way, to hear that they had canned their novel that they were working on?
I'm very sad, but I understand. But I'm a very big like book and reading fan,
Sure.
and I would have eaten that up. I would have been so excited for it. And recently we've been talking on the Europe server as well that everyone would have been so like many people would have been so excited for a novel, and it's a shame, but I understand. It's not like I want to hold a grudge about it. It's more like it's a shame, but I'm still hopeful that in the future we'll have a Grand Archive book, maybe.
I
Not
think,
all hope is gone.
yeah, I don't think it's gone. I think it shows, again, that commitment to quality, because if the book comes out and it's not the best. I've read a few books about other IPs that are like, that was a book for sure. I've stopped reading some of them halfway through because I'm like, I just don't care anymore. This
Yeah,
isn't.
yeah.
Um, and that makes me not want to pick up other books or read into other lore. So
Yeah.
I think there's, on the other hand, I read I read a Star Wars book a couple months ago that
Mm.
I read this thing and I was like, I am now going to order every single other Star Wars book by this writer because this was like legitimately, it doesn't even matter that I'm a massive Star Wars fan. This was just a good book. Like it was
It's
really, really great.
awesome.
So
Yeah, yeah.
I think, this can be good is better than releasing early, right? Releasing a good thing is better than just like throwing something out there and just to fill space.
Absolutely. I think there have been way too many things that are like recently all over in the entertainment industry. Way too many things that are just rushed or
Yeah.
like had to be edited last minute and it ended up being quite bad. So I much prefer this over releasing something bad because that could even hurt the image of the game, you know? It's like, oh man, they just wanted to make money off of us and wrote this bad book
Yeah.
instead of what it actually is something that has a lot of care and love put into it. And
Absolutely.
I don't mind. I'm very happy that they're doing the smart things. You know, it's
Yes.
amazing. It's a breath of fresh air, honestly.
Yeah, I people accuse me so much of like simping for this company, but like I mean, I think they're just the decisions they make are often, have they made mistakes? A few, sure, but like
Yeah,
they make really, really good decisions too.
yeah. I think they also address their mistakes very well.
Yeah.
Like if like with FTC, they saw that okay, we overprinted, we made a mistake, and we see that you guys are collectors and you have a stake in the game. So they made up, they came up with the redemption system where you just trade in a playset or a set of FTC and get a playset of promos. And that's really, really cool. I think I can't think of any other company that would have done that for their players or like fixed their mistake. They would have been like, sorry guys.
In
And
my experience, I think that has never happened. I think that was the first time I've ever seen the company taking a full set of cards back just to manage the secondary market stock. A lot of card games take a stance of we don't look at the secondary market, which is a stance that covers them in, it just allows them to kind of make whatever decisions are best for the company without having to feel like they have a responsibility towards anyone in the secondary market, I guess. But like, uh,
yeah, but then at the same time, like they also if the at the point where you do a master set, you do address the secondary market. So
yep.
the moment you do with like, oh, here are these reprints of these very played and expensive cards,
Hmm.
they put something at like mythic or majestic rarity, they're like, that is pretty much saying that yeah, this is an expensive card and we know it, so we're gonna keep the value up still,
Yeah.
like I think being honest about it is a lot better than being like, well, we don't know, but here you go.
Yeah, it's there's a little bit of talking out of both sides of one's mouth in those scenarios. So
Yeah,
I do prefer the Weeb's approach. Uh,
absolutely.
I have one last thing. We're right at the end of this, but one last thing I just want to talk about with you because this one I think is really interesting and fairly um, actually, no. Given the demographic, it's actually not completely unique because there are a bunch of we have a bunch of people who are content creators for Grand Archive or involved in like TM32 or other teams who also have had an interest in doing this. But I wanted to talk to you, Clem, about VTubing a little bit because this is this is something fairly out of my wheelhouse that I have only started to really understand more a little more recently. So, um, can you talk a little bit about some of your videos that you post are through your avatar and like what you enjoy about that and why you go that route?
Mhm. Well, for me, I all my life I've been a really, really big theater fan and been acting and been on the stage. Basically, I don't know, since I was 3, I've been going to like Hungarian traditional dance lessons and
Oh.
drama class and being on the stage. It's a very, very important part of me. But with COVID, it kind of, everything kind of died. And I also stopped doing that. And that I lost a bit of motivation for it as well, and lost a bit of confidence in myself. And for me, it's been a very 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 good thing and very easy for to get back into being on screen and being doing stuff through that, because it's hard to phrase it, because it's a bit of like a personal thing for me.
Okay.
Is that sometimes I just don't want to, look nice and don't want to put in effort.
I
Like
understand.
everyone.
Believe me, I understand that.
Yeah, and but I still want to entertain people and create stuff and make stuff. And I think having an avatar is a wonderful way of still one being very recognizable, because I always wear the same thing and I always look the same,
Mhm.
and two, being able to create content whenever and wherever I want. Because as you can see, like, sure, right now I have this green ball and I'm dressed up properly and stuff, but not every day you want to do that, and sometimes you just want to entertain people, but you also don't want to go through all of the hassle of lighting and camera setup and
Yeah.
background and everything. Like, you have a wonderful background, but I'm sure there's a lot of effort put into it as well.
This
Like,
yeah, it some of this took significant effort, and like lighting, cameras, all that stuff gets expensive. It
yeah.
certainly is like it's I know some avatar rigging is extremely expensive too. It depends on, I guess it's where you want to spend your money, I
Yeah,
suppose.
well, for me right now, it's, I have it's not really an avatar for me. It's a PNG.
Yeah,
It's There's a difference between VTubers and PNG tubers,
right.
but they're all under the same umbrella. And right now, I just have the PNG, and it's a lot more affordable, because right now most of my focus is on the shop and Grand Archive and the game financially.
Yeah.
But I still want to create recognizable and cute content through myself, as myself. And I think the PNG is a really great way to still have that on a budget, and focus on the game, focus on content creation, and not, overburden myself, because Hungary is still basically Eastern Europe.
Sure.
So financials is different here,
Sure.
and this is a lot better. And I actually really really enjoy it, because I can't have a frog with me in person.
Yeah.
But as a VTuber, I can do whatever I want. I can look however I want. And
Yeah.
I have that freedom of expression with very little limitations. And it's also very cute. I
Yeah.
have to admit. The avatars are adorable, and I've just been commissioning art like crazy. And I'm all my life I really liked art pieces, and I really liked art as well. It also ties into theater. I just love every kind of art, and the fact that I can have my little character that's recognizable, and have art pieces of her which are recognizable, and it's just her doing something. Like, I have the little slime one, which I really love, is great. I can't have a picture of me hanging out with some slimes, but I can have my avatar hanging out with some
No,
slimes.
don't cut your dreams short. You certainly can have a picture of yourself hanging out with
I
slimes.
can believe I can do it. You're right.
No, that makes a ton of sense. And like coming from people who are fans of Grand Archive, we obviously see these cute characters that we also really like. We like to collect the artwork of, and it makes sense to just go, well, why not? Why can't I just have a cute character showing up for my videos, thumbnails? Agree 100%. By the way, on I have commissioned way too much art of our mascot characters for main deck. I keep adding emotes to the server whenever I have
I
space.
saw it recently as well.
Yep.
It's like, oh, a bunch of them.
Yep. And it's so fun. I love getting to see an artist take on these ideas, because they always come out better than I even had imagined. I'll just throw some emote ideas and they'll be like, they did our Dex clown one recently. Is my favorite. That was probably my favorite one we've done. A little raccoon
Yeah,
dressed as a
it's so
clown.
cute. The little hair. Oh,
Yeah.
I love it so much.
Yeah, it's so good. Yeah, so I totally get that. Do you watch other VTubers yourself? Is that like I don't, some people are like, they are into VTubing and they will do a lot of that, or is it just that you like the idea and you just do it yourself?
It's half half. Aria is a very big VTuber fan, so it
Okay.
was his idea at first, and then I was like, but that's a pretty good idea. Let
Yeah.
me just also use it myself, And he also encouraged me. It was very nice of him. But I watched some with him, and right now I'm into shorts. Like there is this girl, she's awesome. Her name is Rim Penrose, and she's a British VTuber.
Okay.
And she makes a lot of shorts, and they're extremely entertaining. And her style is great. There is this other one, um, Fillion. She's a little chaotic little chibi gremlin. It's awesome. So I do watch some, but I rarely have time to just sit down and watch a stream properly. And
Yeah.
most of VTubing is just streaming. And during COVID times, I mostly watch like voice actors and people like that streaming. So I'm kind of missed out on the big boom of VTubing. But now I really like the idea, and I sometimes sit down and put it in on the background. And I think VTubers have a wonderful way of entertaining people, because it's not just that they are there; it's mostly them talking. That's the important part, Because sure, they look pretty, but they don't have this freedom of movement as we have as a human person in front of the camera. And so that's the biggest drive for me and the biggest draw for me towards VTubing. And that's what I really think is the best part about it, is that people still enjoy and are entertained by you just talking, moving around a bit and doing
Yeah.
this. But still, what's the main thing that's keeping them there is you as a either as a for as a face you put on, or you as a person.
So do you think VTubers again, I just haven't thought about this all that deeply, but do you think there's a greater emphasis then on their skill, vocally speaking, their ability to not only say potentially interesting things, talk about interesting subjects, tell stories in an interesting way, but they need to emote a lot more with their voice. And so there's a skill set there where the good VTubers are like really good at things that I maybe didn't even consider were a potential important skill for this.
Yeah, definitely. I think VTubing is very similar to voice acting,
Yeah.
and so you really have you really need to be good at controlling your voice. And I think that's one of the biggest things I need to improve in as well, is to just be able to to control my voice and speak properly, because the best VTubers, their biggest attribute is their voice. Like some people just have a cute voice and they capitalize on that, but even that is not enough. You still need to be very expressive and know how to control your voice and sound very nice, and
Yeah.
sound not too, because the thing with cute voices is that they can get very annoying. So you need
Sure.
to be able to balance that
Sure.
as well.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah, I can understand that too. Okay, well, that's yeah, that was a whole range of kind of interesting topics. I thought they were interesting. Hopefully, if you're
Yeah, me
here in
too.
this video, you I think also thought this was interesting. You probably
Yep.
clicked off a while ago if you didn't. So, yeah, hopefully you're still here and you enjoyed the little discussion. Clem, before we sign off, can you just give people shout outs to wherever you want them to go? I'm going to have links to anything you mention here down in the description, but Clem's going to tell you all of the places where she thinks that you should check her out or check out card shops or whatever you want. Go for it.
Awesome. Yeah. So I'm mostly posting content on the Clem Hopkins YouTube channel. I'm thinking about doing some pre-release Sylvie Slime Sovereign Hangout chats, you know. I'm also on Twitter. I'm also on Instagram. I'm going to be live tweeting my whole journey to Worlds. So if you want to see what it's like for someone from Hungary to go into big America, definitely my Twitter, also at Clem Hopkins, is the best place to check it out. We also welcome everyone at the Aria's Card Shop Online League. It's on our Discord server. And every Friday, we welcome everyone from all around the world. And on Sundays, we mostly do European events, because it's our paid events, and shipping to America is expensive and it's a pain in the butt.
Yeah, it
So
is.
that's a bit more limited. But on Fridays, we welcome everyone. Feel free to come, join, hang out, see what Europeans are like. We don't bite, I promise.
Most, I'm sure.
Must don't. And yeah, I think I covered everything. If you're in Hungary, ever check out Aria's Card Shop, or if you're in Europe and you don't know where to get Grand Archive from, also check out Aria's Card Shop. We have we have everything from Grand Archive. We have sleeves, we have boxes, we have recollections, starter decks, everything you want from Grand Archive, we have there. And yeah, I think that's all from me.
Awesome. Well, thanks so much, Clem. This is a fascinating conversation. That is going to do it for this video, Clem. I'll see you in a few days, actually, very soon.
I'm excited.
Yes, me too. And to our lovely audience out there, thank you so much for watching. I do hope you enjoyed this one. Come swing by, say hi to both Clem and I at Worlds if you do see us there. And otherwise, we'll see you all in the next one.
Bye-bye.